Meanwhile, Hirsch meets Abel Anderson at the NSA headquarters, who shows her a part of the security footage from the Schiphol Airport terrorist attack 3 years ago. The footage is a bombshell. It shows Skinner at the airport trying to smuggle a Hapna prototype. He's ambushed by a U.S. Delta Force team, taking their orders directly from U.S. INSCOM, and by extension, Schneider. The shootout that followed, and the subsequent leak of the Hapna prototype that killed everyone in the terminal, wasn't a terrorist attack. It was a cover-up. INSCOM knew how deadly Hapna was from the very beginning, and they tried to silence Skinner to protect their secret. Abel then drops another bombshell on Hirsch. He reveals the full, ugly truth about INSCOM's illegal drug trials at Iman Prison in Arizona. They used death row inmates as guinea pigs for a prototype of Hapna. Every single test subject died, except for one, a man who escaped right after the trial ended. His name was Axel Gilberto. This makes Axel the only living proof of INSCOM's crimes. The only other witness is the prison doctor who was there, but his current whereabouts are unknown. With the stakes higher than ever, Axel is immediately dispatched on a new mission: find and protect that doctor before INSCOM can bury their last secret. The board is set and all hell breaks loose at once. In Pakistan, Doug and an increasingly ill Elena are tailed by U.S. Army operatives sent by INSCOM. To ensure the mission's success, Doug makes a sacrifice play. He heroically surrenders, creating a diversion. This buys Elena a few precious seconds to escape on a scooter, a high-speed scooter chase. Peak espionage right there. Doug takes a rifle butt to the head for his trouble, but manages to shoot out the tire of the pursuing agent, sending him crashing and allowing Elena to get away. Just as she pinpoints Popcorn Wizard's exact location, her Hapna-induced fever overwhelms her, and she collapses. At the same time in the U.S., Axel is on the highway, beginning his search for the doctor. But he's not alone. Soryu ambushes him, and the interstate erupts into a war zone. This isn't a fistfight, it's a disaster move. The two of them tear through highway traffic, onto a rapid transit line, and into a river, with Soryu relentlessly pursuing Axel. Abel gives Chris clearance to use any weapon necessary to provide backup. Axel pulls himself out of the river and onto a small boat, where he engages Soryu in brutal hand-to-hand combat. But during the fight, something strange happens. Soryu freezes. He's staring at the winged pendant around Axel's neck. The image triggers a flood of traumatic childhood memories. We see flashes of a violent upbringing, of being told the myth of the Hundun, a faceless creature of chaos. The assassin, this unstoppable monster, begins to break. He's not a cold-blooded killer anymore. He's a confused, brainwashed victim. He starts screaming at Axel, not with threats, but with desperate questions. He asks if the pendant is the Hundun's wing. He begs Axel to tell him the end of the story, a story he was taught but can no longer remember. He's not trying to break Axel's mind. His own mind is already broken. While Soryu is lost in his psychological torment, Chris arrives on a nearby bridge, laying down covering fire with a high-powered rifle. The distraction is all Axel needs, but Soryu, snapping out of his trance for a moment, makes one last move. He hurls a harpoon, impaling Axel on a dock. Before Chris can finish him, Soryu escapes into the dark waters of the river, leaving Axel bleeding and grievously wounded. At INSCOM, Hirsch's attempt to blackmail Schneider with the truth about the Arizona prison backfires completely. He stonewalls her and has her detained on grounds of treason. She's been effectively taken off the board.
You're finally showing your true colors, Mr. Schneider.
Such a shame.
Axel wakes up in Dr. Millie's secret hospital. The first thing he learns is that the witness he was sent to protect is dead. Another mission failed. As he recovers from an injury that should have killed him, he and Chris finally have a moment to talk. After a life spent alone, losing everyone he ever cared about, he admits that he's actually grown to like being a part of this chaotic, dysfunctional team. He's finally found something that feels like a family. Meanwhile, in Pakistan, Elena wakes up. She's not in a prison but a comfortable bed, cared for by her legendary hacker rival, Popcorn Wizard, whose real name is Lynn. Lynn explains everything. She was born on one of the sinking islands and suffers from analgesia, the inability to feel pain. Skinner visited her community years ago, buying their doomed land so they would have the money to relocate and survive. His act of kindness earned her undying loyalty. She is the one who has been monitoring his artificial heart, helping him stay hidden. Then, following Skinner's final instructions, she reveals his location. He's hiding in the homeless community, right back in Babylonia City. The adults are making their move. Abel Anderson, the founder of Lazarus, recruits the now reformed hacker Dr. 909 to dig into the phantom assassin Soryu. At the same time, Abel makes a desperate gambit. He meets with the President of the United States, who is herself slowly dying from hapna. He convinces her that INSCOM is the true enemy and gets what he needs, an executive order to raid a branch of the U.S. military. With the order in hand, Abel goes to confront Schneider himself. Back in Pakistan, Doug is being held in a hospital by INSCOM agents, but not for long. Elena and Lynn stage a daring rescue, breaking him out and fighting their way to freedom.
Doug! Are you okay? Come on, Doug, get in!
Elena and Doug immediately take the hypercube back to Babylonia City to regroup with the others. As the team reassembles, they learn the horrifying truth about their new enemy. Soryu and HQ are the same person. This man is likely suffering from dissociative identity disorder, a mental illness where a person creates a separate personality that manifests to protect themselves whenever their existence is threatened. He's a product of the Hundun program, a secret project that turned orphan children into brainwashed, faceless monsters incapable of emotion. He is as much a victim as he is a villain. But just as they process this, Axel gets a cryptic text message. It's a challenge from Soryu. Despite being fresh from a harpoon injury, Axel goes to face the Phantom, because a one-on-one duel to the death atop a skyscraper is obviously the best recovery plan. They meet on top of Babylonia Tower. Their final battle is brutal and epic, a clash of two broken souls. But this time, the fight is different. Soryu isn't fighting to kill. He's fighting to remember. He screams at Axel, begging him to finish the story of the Hundun, the faceless creature from mythology. Moments later, Schneider sends a helicopter to eliminate both Axel and Soryu, destroying the last piece of evidence against him. Soryu manages to bring down the helicopter. It crashes into the statue atop the tower, causing it to collapse. As Soryu tries to escape, he is crushed by the falling debris. In his final moments, Axel tells him the end of the tale. The Hundun didn't find glory. It died when people tried to give it a face, to make it something it wasn't. Hearing this, a lifetime of brainwashing shatters. The monster finally finds a moment of peace. Moments later, Chris arrives to save Axel, only to find that Soryu has already passed away. While Axel was fighting his duel, Abel was fighting his own war. His NSA agents raid INSCOM headquarters, arresting Schneider and freeing Hirsch from her cell. With their enemies neutralized, the entire Lazarus team finally converges on their real target, the homeless camp in Babylonia City. As the team heads to Skinner's location, Abel tells them the final truth. It wasn't a coincidence they all survived disasters. He reveals that every core member of Lazarus, Axel, Chris, Leland, Elena, and Doug, was at Schiphol Airport during the massacre 3 years ago. The exposure to the raw Hopna prototype killed them and then resurrected them. It rewrote their DNA, making them immune. They weren't just a team, they were the first to be reborn. They are the true meaning of Lazarus. When they arrive at the homeless camp, they begin searching for him everywhere. And there, in a quiet, unassuming tent filled with rare tulips, they finally find him. Dr. Skinner. He's blind, frail, and only hours away from death. Skinner confesses everything. He explains that after witnessing the military cover up the massacre he had inadvertently caused, he lost all faith in humanity. His doomsday clock wasn't just a threat. It was a test, a final, desperate question to the world. Are you even worth saving? He turns to Axel and asks him directly. Axel gives him an answer. He admits the world is a screwed up place, but that even so, it has its bright spots. It has people worth fighting for. It has moments worth protecting. Moved by his answer, Skinner smiles. His test is complete. Humanity, for all its flaws, chose to fight for its survival. With his final breath, he hands Hirsch a piece of paper containing the structural formula for the cure, and then peacefully succumbs to his own creation. In a sudden move, Axel and Doug pull their guns on Hirsch, saying they don't want to be erased. They reveal that Leland had told them everything, including the fact that she was keeping tabs on them. At that moment, Abel arrives with an executive order from the president, giving full pardons for all of them. Their mission is over, but Abel gives them one last choice. He offers them the chance to stay together, to continue working as a new legitimate organization dedicated to solving the world's problems. One by one, they all accept. In the aftermath, the Hapnicure is mass-produced and distributed globally, saving the world. Life begins to return to normal, little by little. The stock market soars in a historic rally. Schneider is put on trial for his crimes, and Leland is finally able to spend the weekend with his sister. The scene shifts to Delta Medicinal, where Dr. Ahmed Rahman announces a new era, one without Hapna.